Welcome back, accounting students. This is Mrs. Bloomquist, and we are currently working on Chapter 13. Right now, we are looking at Lesson 3 in Chapter 13. Chapter 13, remember, deals with accounting for payroll taxes, and so as we're looking at the Lesson 3, we're looking at reporting of withholding and payroll taxes. So the objective for this particular lesson is to prepare selected payroll tax reports. Okay, so as we look at the kinds of reporting that needs to take place for withholding and payroll taxes, what you're going to see is the very first form is W-2, and this is an employee wage and tax statement. If any of you have had a part-time job previously, you at the end of the year would have received this annual report from your employer about the amount of taxes that have been withheld from your check. And so employees use W-2 information to file their federal and any state taxes and sometimes local taxes that they might have due for the year. And employers are required to get W-2s out to employees by January 31st of the next year. So employers generate W-2 statements and then they're required to get them out by January 31st. Now, employers not only send a copy of the W-2 to employees, and in this case it's John Butler, but they also submit this information to the federal government so that the government can match up the salary and wage information that's reported by individuals with what employers actually reported for them. So there is the ability to match up some of that information. What we're looking at now is the quarterly federal tax return that employers are required to submit. And you know, one of the reasons for this report is that the IRS wants to be able to monitor company deposits of withheld taxes or money that employers have withheld. And so they require on a quarterly basis that employers submit a report that shows all of the earnings and then the taxes that have been withheld for employees. And it's just a record-keeping step. It's just a check so that the government can confirm that employers are handling payroll correctly. And so if you want to see a much larger version of this report, it's actually on page 388 in your book, and you might want to take a look at it. As you're looking at the report, what you'll notice is that once you know what all the definitions for the line items are, it's pretty easy to follow through on the report. So I'm just going to click through pretty quickly about all the information that's here. And again, it's pretty small print, so you might want to just check out your book. The other element that we're looking at would be the second section or the bottom or the back of this quarterly tax return, where you get the state abbreviation and then when the employer is required to deposit the funds. So you can see in this example, you're looking at this particular employer deposited funds monthly, and how often or how frequently you have to deposit the taxes that have been withheld really just depends on the type of business, and in most cases it's based on the amount of money goes into each of the payrolls. Okay, so employer annual reporting of payroll taxes, another really interesting form. This is the W-3 form, and what you'll notice, about this one is that this goes to the employer name and the employer address and then a contact person, but this is total reporting for the year. So this is not by employee, this is a total report for the entire year. So you can see for the entire year, 3 Green paid out $168,000 in wages, tips, and other compensation. All right, so as we move to the audit your understanding, when are employers required to furnish a W-2 statement to employees? And remember that they're required to make sure that all employees have that by January 31st of the following year. So at the end of 2015, employers were required to have this out by January 31st, 2016. What taxes are included in the quarterly federal tax return that's filed by the employer? Federal income taxes, Social Security tax, and Medicare tax. And you're really looking at the federal tax return. So you're looking at the things that are coming out that are federal taxes. All right, that is the end of lesson 3 for chapter 13. So from here, please go out and take care of the form. There's just a couple quick questions and then the work together and on your own for this chapter. Good luck, everybody.